Hello everyone, my name is Wovil and welcome to the 8th episode of Strats Explained, Magically Easy, a video series where I explain how and why different strats and glitches that speedrunners use work. Today we are going to talk about the thing called Zero Star Glitch in GTA San Andreas, a trick that disables getting wanted level completely, no matter what you do. This is a very important glitch because in the current any percent route, speedrunners skip a lot of missions, which tricks the game to think that you haven't unlocked some territories. And as we all know, entering these locked territories grants you a constant wanted level of 4 stars. Not only will you have to complete missions with 4 stars, which is probably very annoying, but also phone calls will not come. As far as I know, there are workarounds for that, but let's be real, it would be much better if wanted level was not a problem in the first place. Alright, let's see how it's done. To do this trick, speedrunners use a very interesting feature from GTA San Andreas – plane flights. You buy a ticket, skip the flight, destroy the plane you arrived in, and it's done. Now you can do whatever you want and police will not care at all. Looked very easy, didn't it? Well, of course it's not that simple. Nobody will let you get off the plane before the flight is fully over, but I'll explain that part a little bit later. We'll start with the plane script, and here's the main loop that executes every frame. It starts with a check, if notice player playing player 1. Notice player playing means that if we are busted or if we are wasted, then we go to mission cleanup planes. That's the part that stops the script, so we obviously don't want to get there. But if we are playing just fine, then we skip it and go to the second check, which is very similar to the first one. If is player playing player 1. So as you can see, we don't have not here. So, if we are playing, then the script executes clear wanted level player 1. And this is essentially the effect we are after. Script removes all of our stars every single frame. What else is here? Get game timer, some variable we don't care about, and then there is a huge chunk of code that basically controls the whole flight. The skip cutscene part, the jump out with parachute part, etc, etc, etc. If I scroll further, we will see the arriving part, and as you can see there is set char coordinates that basically teleports us to our destination. And after that it eventually goes to mission cleanup planes, so it stops the script. But all of this will execute only if the outmost condition is true, and it is if not discarded plane. So, if we somehow destroy the plane, and we already saw that on the video, everything that is here will not execute, and the plane will never arrive, which means that the script will never end. We can literally just remove everything here and our script will look like this. 2 checks that we already saw, some irrelevant stuff, and go back. So this script basically becomes a script that only clears our wanted level. How can we accidentally lose that effect? We already know that getting wasted or busted will stop the script, but also saving and reloading the game will do the same. Apart from that, there is nothing, and this is perfect for speedrunning. Let's undo everything and go to the very top of the script, because here, as we can see, the script sets our control off. So we should not be able to get off the plane. Let's see how this command works. Welcome to RE Vice City. You might ask, why Vice City? Well, simply because RE San Andreas doesn't exist, so we will have to look at the elder brother. But luckily for us, as far as I am aware, all of the functions we are interested in today were either unchanged or changed just slightly, but the overall logic stayed the same. So here is command set player control. I'll remind you that we had an argument off, which means false, so we get into this branch, and as you can see there's only one function, make player safe true. Let's see what it does. So, since it's true, we get into this branch, and as you can see there is a lot of stuff, but we are interested in one line only. cpath, getpath, set disable player controls. So, this is the function that disables our controls and that doesn't allow us to get off the plane early, because all of your keyboard inputs will simply be ignored. So what is the secret then? The most observant of you have probably already noticed that we have Vigilante running. And I should mention that during normal gameplay you won't be able to buy a ticket if you're on a mission. But speedrunners use a glitch that allows them to do so, the same one they use for duping. Okay, but why? If we pay attention, then we'll see that the only thing we do with Vigilante is literally cancelling it during the flight. What's the point? To answer that question we will have to look at the Vigilante's script. And here it is. Let's look at the very end at the part called Mission Cleanup. This is the part that usually removes some garbage that was produced by the mission, and in this case it removes some blips from the minimap, clears timers, etc, etc, etc. But we don't care about that. We care about this command at the very end, mission has finished. This is the magic command that does the trick, but to describe how, we'll have to go back to RE Vice City. Mission has finished. As you can see, it's very short, there's only one function call, mission cleanup process. Alright, there is a lot of stuff, but luckily for us I know where to look, and here it is. See world, players, make player save, false. Hold on a second, didn't we already see make player save before? And we sure did, but the argument was true. Well, let's see what changes if the argument is false. If it is false, then we get into the second branch, and here we can see cpath, getpath, set, enable player controls. And there it is. So we need Vigilante to cancel it, which will trigger the mission has finished command, and that will enable our controls back, allowing us to get off the plane and destroy it. Pretty cool, isn't it? And that's how the Zero Star glitch works. Technically I could end the video right here, but I have a bonus content for you. The trick I just showed you has been known and used in runs for years, but there is a new one, and it was found not so long ago. In order to do it you have to start drive-by twice, so dupe it. One instance will instantly fail, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that after that you won't be able to gain any wanted level at all. The most interesting part about this trick is that the effect is different from the previous one. You will not lose it if you die, if you get busted, and even if you save and reload the game. Let's see how it works. When we start the mission, it executes get max wanted level. And as we all know, at the very start of the game the maximum possible wanted level you can get is 4 stars. So we take that 4 and save it to SW4 max wanted. This is the variable we can use later to get the value back. After that we set max wanted level to 0, so we are disabling the wanted level. When we are done with the mission, either by failing it or by completing it, we get into the cleanup part. And if we scroll a little bit further, we'll see that it sets max wanted level back to the value stored in SW4 max wanted, which is 4. So when we have only one instance, everything works fine. But what goes wrong if we start the mission twice? Let's find out. So, the first instance saves 4 into the variable and sets max wanted level to 0. Then we start the second instance. It tries to execute get max wanted level, and now this command will return 0 because of the previous instance. And it'll save that 0 in SW4 max wanted, overwriting the previous value. And that means that at the very end of the mission, when it will try to execute set max wanted level to the value from the variable, nothing will happen because it'll set it to 0 again. The only way we can lose this effect is if some other script will execute set max wanted level with some other value. In speedruns it happens during reuniting the families, so at the very end of Los Santos. Okay, now the video is surely over, right? Not quite. Let me go back to the first trick for one last time. Check out this clip.
No! No! Ah, runs over. That was fun. Wait, no, if I can just complete this mission.
Did you spot it? And no, I'm not talking about that black box, it is irrelevant.
Okay.
I'm talking about the fact that Josh was teleported to the airport and now the wanted level is back. But how is that possible? The plane was clearly destroyed before. You will not believe me, but the actual answer is it reincarnated. And not necessarily is another plane, it could be any vehicle. Let me briefly explain how that works. As we already know from the previous episodes, when we create a vehicle it gets assigned a special unique number. In the code it's called handle, and later the game can use that handle to access the original vehicle object. For example, here is command delete car, and we get our car object from the pool using the handle that we pass as a parameter. The same thing we can see in the isCarDead command. We get the vehicle from the pool. And generally all of the commands that work with vehicles use that handle to access the original object. And I guess now it's time to explain how that number is created. Let me be honest with you, the code for that looks quite scary, but don't worry, we're not gonna go into the specifics. So here is the new function, and what we have here is a do while loop. That loop goes over all of the slots in the vehicle pool until it finds the free one. And as soon as we find the free one, we get out of the loop and say set is free, false, meaning that the slot that we just found is no longer free. After that, we set ID and return that weird looking expression. Let me quickly show the code for those who are interested in it, and for everyone else, I'm going to show you an example right now. First of all, everything that I'm going to say and already said about pools applies to all of them, so to the vehicle pool, to the pet pool, and to the object pool. But since we are interested in the vehicle pool, here's an example with vehicles. In GTA San Andreas the vehicle pool size is 110 slots, but we are going to have 10 to keep things simple. As you can see, some of the slots are occupied, some of the slots are empty, and that's completely normal to have gaps. Every single existing vehicle gets on this list, and by vehicle I mean every single instance, so if you see two Patriots right in front of you, both of them are going to be listed. The first thing you need to know is that all of the slots are enumerated, and the enumeration starts with 0. Some of you might think that having that slot number as a handle is already enough, and that's true. If the game knows that the plane is in slot number 4, it can access the original plane object. But there's a catch. I imagine we have some Bobcat in slot number 3, and there's a script that checks if that Bobcat is dead, using isCarDead3 command. As long as the car is in the game and it's not destroyed, the answer is false, because the car is alive. But if the Bobcat somehow disappears, the answer changes immediately. Okay, so far so good. Now let's say that instead of checking every single frame, the script does it like once in 10 seconds. And in between two consecutive checks, our Bobcat disappears and another vehicle appears in the same slot, in this example, Bullet. And when the game finally checks isCarDead3 again, it will try to get a car from slot number 3, it will get a real car object and will say, yo, no, the car is still alive, even though the original Bobcat is long gone and this is something else. To solve this issue, developers introduced a new number that I'm going to call counter. This is a whole number from 0 to 127. If it goes over, it wraps around and starts from 0 again. And it shows how many times some particular slot was occupied with something. And handle is literally a concatenation of slot and counter. Well, technically the numbers are first converted to hexadecimal, but we're not gonna do that to keep things simple. And as I said, this solves our issue, because even if some other vehicle spawns in the same slot, it is going to have a different handle. So going back to the clip, we can say that after the plane despawned, 127 different vehicles spawned in the same slot as the plane was in initially. And the last vehicle got the same handle as the plane. Therefore the script was like, oh, the plane is alive again, let's finish the flight. Of course, chances of that are quite low, but they're not zero, and you don't want to get randomly teleported while you're on a world record pace. That's why most of the runners save and reload their game after they don't need the 0-star glitch effect anymore. Okay, let's finish the pools topic. How can we know what is the next slot the vehicle is going to appear in? It's actually very easy. The game has a pointer that points to the last occupied slot. In this example, it's number 6 with a Patriot. New vehicle is going to appear in the next free slot. If we reach the end of the list, we continue from the very beginning. If the list is already full, the game is going to make one full cycle and then crash. When a vehicle disappears, there are two possible outcomes. If it was in the slot that is after the pointer, then nothing happens. But if it was before, then the pointer moves to that slot. But I have to remind you that when a new vehicle spawns, it's going to appear in the next free slot, even if the current one is empty. Today we looked at two different tricks that speedrunners use to get rid of wanted level. The first one is quite old and sometimes surprises you with unwanted teleportations. The other one is relatively new, but still very useful. But the best part about these two is that they are both totally different internally, and now we know how they work. Are there any more? Well, I bet there are, but all of them are gonna be similar to what I already explained. If you still have any questions regarding this topic, let me know down in the comments and I will help you. Yours Today challenge goes like this. Remember that for the first topic we used Vigilante to cancel it. And the question is, are there any other side missions we can use? Leave your guesses down in the comments and I will heart the correct ones. A poll for the next topic is going to appear on the community tab roughly in 3 days after this video is released. I will also put a link to it in the pinned comment. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you don't want to miss the next episode, consider subscribing. My name is Waffle, see you the next time.